Hello, Stoughton, and welcome to another edition of Community Forum. I'm your host, Adam Dawkins. You know, Stoughton has an enormously rich musical heritage, and it's even reflected in our town seal here in Stoughton. And joining us today on Community Forum are four music teachers from Stoughton High School who are carrying out that rich tradition. We have with us today John Mange, Daniel Block, Ann Fiske, and Christopher Nickelson-Mann. John Mange is the K-12 Director of Fine Arts and directs the Stoughton High School Symphonic Band, the Marching Black Knights, and the Wednesday Jazz Band. Daniel Block is a choral teacher at O'Donnell Middle School, and he also directs the 7th grade choirs and co-directs the OMS Honors Chorus and assists with the 6th and 8th grade choirs, teaches 6th grade exploring music, and also does woodwind sectionals and movement training with the Stoughton High School Marching Black Knights. Ann Fiske directs 4th, 5th, and 7th grade bands across the entire district, directs the OMS Honors Wind Band, and is the assistant marching band director. And Christopher Nickelson-Mann directs the Stoughton High School Symphonic Choir, concert chorus, the Stoccatos, which is an a cappella group, and assists with the Stoughton High School treble, chorale, and jazz voices, and also teaches class piano and music theory. I said at the beginning of this they all work at Stoughton High School, but in fact they work throughout the district. So welcome to all four of you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'd like to start first by hearing a little bit about each of you and what it is that interested you in being a music teacher, and especially what brought you here to Stoughton. So John, if we could, I'd like to start with you, and then we'll go down the row.
Thanks, Adam. Well, I've always had a very musical family. My mother is a church organist. My father played trombone in the University of Michigan Marching Band. So music has been a part of my family life basically ever since I was born. Started taking piano lessons as a young kid in 1st or 2nd grade, and eventually went on to the trumpet as a 5th grader in the North Andover School District. So I've been through my own school band program, and it was an inspiring experience for me. I decided that was what I wanted to do with my life. It's something I'm very passionate about. Went to the University of Massachusetts and studied trumpet there with Eric Berlin, and was taking all kinds of classes. And then I ended up here. It was really the perfect job. I was not at all expecting that I would have the kind of opportunity that I ended up with in Stoughton. So I've been here for my entire career, as a matter of fact. It's really worked out quite well.
Terrific.
And I'm so happy to be here.
Great.
I actually grew up in Stoughton. My father taught in Stoughton for about 30 years. He was a band teacher as well. He was my band teacher at the Daw School. He was my band teacher in middle school, and which was pretty much as you could imagine it, for better or for worse. But it was great. Music was always a part of my life growing up, just like John's family had a musical family. We were at concerts all the time. We had music in the house all the time, instruments to play and experiment with. So when my father was in the process of retiring and I was in the process of graduating UMass Amherst, I was very fortunate to, through the interview process, get his job. And so now I do exactly what he had done for those 30 years or so, and I'm lucky to be back home serving the community that I grew up in and that gave me so many opportunities growing up.
Terrific.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Daniel.
So similar to Ann, I also grew up in Stoughton. I went through the program. From a young age, like elementary school, I knew I always wanted to be a teacher. First, I thought I wanted to be a math teacher, then a chemistry teacher. And then my sophomore year of high school, I auditioned and got into the district choir. And the moment, I know it sounds weird, but the moment we started singing, I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And when I graduated, I went to Ithaca College, upstate New York, and was there for 4 years. And now I am back. I actually had Ann's father as a teacher. When I graduated, my senior year was John's first year in Stoughton, so that was fun, and now I'm back, and it's awesome to work with the students and to be back where I started my music career.
Yeah, terrific. And Christopher, you are not originally from Stoughton, but
No,
tell us
I'm
all
not.
about you.
I grew up in Georgia, and I started again, like John's or all of our families probably, come from a very musical family, and took piano lessons from when I was a little kid, and knew that I wanted to do something with music for a career. And so I went off to college, to Ithaca College, same place Dan went, and ended up in Massachusetts after I graduated and taught in a couple of different districts. And my husband and I moved to Stoughton before the job opened up for the choral position at Stoughton High School. So we were living in the community before I started working here. So it's a really cool opportunity to be able to teach and work in the community that you live and serve this great community. It's a great place to live and teach.
It is indeed. Terrific. Wonderful. I'd love for you all to give us all a general overview of the music program in Stoughton, and tell us about what you're up to, and especially, I know you're in the middle of a move to the new high school building, and some of you are anyway, and I know that's probably taking up some of your time this summer, but I'd love to hear just a general overview of the music program in Stoughton, because as I said at the beginning, it comes from really, really rich roots in this town. So what's happening?
Should I start? And if I miss anything, fill in the gaps?
Sure,
Okay.
sure thing.
Okay, so our music program is kindergarten through 12th grade. In the earliest grades, we start out with classroom music, which I think we're going to talk a little bit more about in a few minutes. Get to 3rd grade, and we introduce the playing of wind instruments with recorders. Then we go on 4th and 5th grade, we introduce the 6 band instruments in those grades, and all of the students in Stoughton are in the 4th and 5th grade choir for their elementary school. So every kid in this district performs as a singer in the 4th and 5th grade. We get to 6th grade, there is still a general classroom offering, but we then go into the 6th grade band, the 6th grade choirs, 7th grade, 8th grade. The older that kids get through our program, the more opportunities kind of come up for them to take advantage of. So in the middle school, we have some jazz groups, some jazz bands. They're taught by Mr. Kerbo and some other folks. We have the OMS Honors Wind Band, and then we have the OMS Honors Choir as well, which are some after-school ensembles that do not take place during the day, but are kind of supplement and reinforce the concepts that the kids are learning in class. When they graduate 8th grade, they go into the 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. We have a ton of ensembles at the high school. On the choral side, we have the concert chorus, which is, I believe, mandatory for all freshmen, or for many freshmen. The treble chorale is our group for treble voices, so sopranos and altos. And then our most advanced group in the high school is the symphonic choir. Those are all during the day choirs that we offer. On the band side, we have a concert band and then a more advanced symphonic band. Full instrumentations in both groups. We have double reeds, we have French horns, we have contrabass clarinet, huge variety of percussion instruments. It's it's a really robust wind band kind of experience there. After school at the high school, we have the jazz voices, the staccatos a cappella, and then we also have on the band side some jazz bands, Wednesday jazz, Tuesday jazz, and the jazz combo, and then a marching band which takes place in the fall every year and is of course a big hit with the football crowds. Right. Did I miss anything? Is that it all? Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
Musical?
We have a musical as well, which is part of our drama program, which is very much up and coming and is going to really, we talked a little bit about the high school, we'll talk more about it, but really is going to have an enormous growth opportunity in this new building, which has facilities that can accommodate a pretty substantial drama offering.
And do we have a musical that's already picked out and chosen for next season?
We do, but we're not telling you what it
announcing.
is.
I got that. Okay, very good.
It is a secret at the moment.
Well, we'll be waiting on pins and needles to find out what
Oh
that
yes,
is.
oh yes.
Well, I believe we also have some students who will tell us, who will show us, I think, what the music program is like.
That's
also,
right,
I think we
yes.
have a video prepared for our audience, and that we can see for ourselves more
Yes.
about the music program.
So Jeff Pickett very nicely put this video together, and the purpose of the video is to kind of give audience members a sense of the progression of our students from some of the younger grades when they're first starting to perform in 4th and 5th grade, all the way up through the 12th grade. And we're trying to give you a sampling of what they're doing in the different schools, different grades as they develop as musicians.
Terrific. Let's have a look. really are so very fortunate to have such a rich musical program in our schools here in Stoughton. One of the things that strikes me is how early our students get started in learning musical instruments and choral music here in Stoughton. The school district that I grew up in South Carolina did not have elementary school choral or instrument programs or band or orchestra programs at all. And I'm sort of moved by the fact that we have those programs here in Stoughton. And I'd really love to know what are some of the earliest musical skills that you teach to children in the youngest grades here in town?
Sure, so I'll take this one.
Okay, great.
So although I teach at the middle school all the time this year, I taught half at the elementary school last year and half at the middle school. So I have taught in the district and I went through this program. So students in Stoughton are really lucky that from K to 5 that they get a 40-minute music class every week. Which is, in some districts that doesn't happen, like in New York where I used to teach, they got like 20 minutes maybe twice a week. So it's really great that they get music every single week. Basically from kindergarten and first grade, the skills that we're really kind of driving home is keeping a steady beat and matching pitch. Because once you get those fundamental skills, there's so much you can build off of that. Right. So K through 1, it's really about steady beat and matching pitch. And then as they get a little older, we like to use a lot of musical opposites, so loud versus soft or fast versus slow, and kind of getting them to compare and contrast and understand kind of the difference between that. And then as they get on to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, we can actually start to put some real musical vocabulary attached to that, so not fast and slow, but the actual tempo or loud and soft piano forte.
Right.
And then in 3rd grade, when we introduce the recorders, is really when we start to dive into music literacy and reading actual music notation. So it's really nice that it works great for learning the concept, but also it's a nice precursor to 4th grade when they get into the instrumental music, that they have that skill base already. And then along with that, we start introducing a ton more concepts, form, and all of that builds in the early stages. So it's really nice. And then all those skills then come back in the middle school and the high school. We obviously talk about more of them, but at a higher level.
So I'd love to hear more about that. So tell me how that sort of how that moves from elementary into middle school, and what you're learning in middle school, because I took up playing the trombone in 6th grade and played it all through high school and into college. But I'd love to know what it's like here for a 6th grader who's I'm assuming starting in the musical program, perhaps, or maybe they're not starting all the time in musical programs in elementary school. But what's it like for a 6th grader when they're coming into middle school to be part of the music programs?
If they're part of the instrumental program already, then we've seen them in 4th and 5th grade. So my coworkers, Danielle Horan and Nick DeFrias and I, we do all of the elementary instrumental program. So we know the students from 4th grade to 5th grade, and we follow them to 6th grade, which is a great link, not just like academically, but socially, that they have someone at the new school that they know. So it's always really nice to see them on the first day of school, and they get so surprised. You're here too. But as they come up, we've started with those fundamentals from recorder in 3rd grade and the note reading, and then we start with the very basic same first 3 pitches, which are the first few that they sing, which are the first few. So they have different vocabularies to describe those pitches. And very incrementally, we add a few more notes, a few more different styles of rhythms, a little bit more complicated music. Like the 4th graders all play in unison in their concerts. They all play the same thing at the same time. In 5th grade, we add a little bit of harmony. The parts are independent by section. All the flutes play the same thing, the saxophones play the same thing, etc. When we get to 6th grade, maybe there's a flute 1 and a flute 2 part. Maybe there's saxophone 1 and saxophone 2. We've added a tenor saxophone, so we've taken some saxophone players and taught them a new instrument. Same fingers, same note names. They're reading the same thing, but it sounds different. So we add a few instruments every year. Maybe there's some baritones to supplement our trombones in 6th grade. And maybe in 7th grade, we'll add a tuba player or 2, and we let them try those things. Oboes, we gradually can increase our instrumentation and thus play more complex music. And that creates a more interesting product to listen to. So it's very incremental. And Danielle, Nick, and I, we look at each other's classes all the time. We co-teach often, so we know exactly what that kid learned last year, and we know exactly where they're coming to us, and we know them personally, so we can cater. If I only have 6 trumpets coming. I'm not going to choose a trumpet heavy song for my 7th grade band because I saw those kids in 6th grade. I want to highlight maybe my low voices because they're very strong. So it's so nice that we know the kids, like academically, musically, and socially. We know how to cater what we're doing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrific. High school is a time when I think a lot of students start to focus more seriously on personal interests. As I think that's what, thinking way back to when I was in high school, this is what it was like for me especially. But what kind of opportunities open up for students as they continue into high school programs?
So there are lots of opportunities for kids to be involved with music and to kind of explore different options. They start jazz in the middle school, and that can transition into the high school. So we have Jazz Voices, which is a mixed jazz choir. So mixed meaning like soprano, alto voices, high voices, and low voices, tenor and bass. And they sing really advanced music that is challenging, and we try to push them with that. And then there's also the jazz bands at the high school that provide the same kind of continuation from the middle school instrumental program. And also at the high school, we have, on the vocal side, we have an a cappella group, which is something that they don't have really the opportunity to explore like solely in this ensemble. That's all they do is a cappella music. They may have had experience with a cappella music at the middle school, but not necessarily in an ensemble that's devoted exclusively to that. And then in the choirs during the school day, we try to use a wide range of genres of music. So we're never trying to kind of like pinhole students into one particular kind of music. We want them to experience the breadth of music that's out there, and we want them to really get exposed to everything that we can expose them to. We think that's really important. So that allows them to kind of say like, oh, I really like that music, or that's really interesting to me, and they can kind of like explore that path at the high school level. It's really awesome.
Awesome. So before we get into talking about the new school facility that we're about to enjoy and our students are about to benefit from tremendously, I'd love to hear more about what is planned for next year and for all of your programs, your various programs that you all lead. So Christopher, why don't we start with you with can you give us a preview to what the choirs and what have you are doing in the fall?
Yeah, so in the fall, we're going to be starting a lot of new music. We're doing the musical in the fall this year for the first time. So usually that's in the spring. So that's going to be a big thing right off the bat, getting started with a musical. We have, for the past 2 years, started the school year with a pop concert. So we sing music that a lot of students are familiar with already or have heard before. And it's a nice, fun, lighthearted way to start the school year and to get everybody singing and enjoying the music. And then we also have our department trip in the spring, and we'll be going to New York City in April. So that's the whole high school music department, band and chorus. So we're looking forward to that. And just being in the new school, I think in itself will just be super exciting.
I know. We're going to hear all about that when we take our break in a minute, but I can only imagine how excited you all must be about that. What's coming up next year?
So at the middle school and in the choral world, again, we're starting some new music, and it's awesome. We get to also participate. The 8th grade gets to participate in that Pops concert with the high schoolers at the beginning of the year, so we'll be diving right into that music as well. I did get permission from my other co-directors of the middle school musical to a special community forum release. We are doing Alice in Wonderland Junior next year at the middle school.
Oh, awesome.
So that will be in March. So we're looking forward to that. And also we do our performances at the high school as well. So we're looking forward to using the new auditorium and the facilities up there. And we're also doing a little revamp of our general music, our 6th grade general music curriculum over the summer, so we're excited to start that next year with the incoming 6th graders as well.
Nice, excellent.
We're excited to get new 4th graders playing in band. In this, we come around in September and we do demo concerts where we choose some pop songs and we play some games with the 4th and 5th grade. And Nick DeFrias, Danielle Horn, and I will play our instruments for them and introduce how the instruments work and what they do and what you can expect. And then the students will sign up for which lesson they'd like to try, which instrument they'd like to try in 4th grade. We also have a petting zoo night where the students can come and we all the high schoolers come help, thank goodness. But we clean out all the mouthpieces and we have all plastic reeds that we can sanitize, and we let them try just the fundamentals of the instrument, just the mouthpiece in the barrel, just the head joint on the flute. Do you feel very successful? Do you feel like with a little work you could be successful? Or do you feel like maybe this isn't working quite as well as you want it to? And then we let them rank their choices, so that way when they do choose their instrument, the families aren't investing in money in the rental without them really knowing if it's a good fit for their embouchure, their facial structure.
Right.
So we've actually found a lot less students get frustrated in the first half of the year because they know, oh, I came in, I buzzed on my mouthpiece, I made a really clear sound. Mrs. Fiske got really excited that I want to play trombone, so I'm going to play trombone and then I'm going to rock. So we're very excited for those students to come in and start with us.
Sounds like a really successful way to approach this. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
On the high school band side, we're at the moment really ramping up for the marching band show next year, which is going to be titled Any Way the Wind Blows, and it is a Queen show.
Oh, awesome.
It's going to be pretty awesome. We're opening with Bohemian Rhapsody. Our middle tune is Somebody to Love, and the closer of the show will be Don't Stop Me Now. So we are currently in the process of writing the show. We got the permissions from the copyright holders. I'm writing the wind parts. We have 2 percussion staff members, Mr. DeFries, Mr. Conant, are writing the marching percussion and pit percussion pieces of that. Mrs. Fiske and I are going to sit down actually tomorrow and start to flow chart out the show and figure out all the counts. And then we send it to our drill writer and get the drill custom written. So that is all coming up over the summer when we come in the 3rd week of August for band camp, which will be at the Hanson School this year due to the move.
Of course.
It's going to be pretty exciting. So that's coming up for the fall. Another really big event for us this year, and this is kind of all high school wide, and we may be looking for help across the district. Next year, our facilities are going to allow us, for the first time in our history in this town, to host the SEMSBA Senior Festival in Stoughton. So this is a festival that happens all across the Southeast District, and involves over 30 towns. There's an audition that comes up in February, and then I believe it's in March 20th and 21st. The kids that are admitted into the ensemble will show up in buses at Stoughton High School, and they'll be coming in and rehearsing the SEMSBA chorus, SEMSBA jazz band, concert band, and orchestra for an entire Friday. They just come in and rehearse all day during the school day, and then on Saturday they come back for the morning, and then they put on a show for the community and for their family members in the new Stoughton High School. So this is very exciting. We've always wanted to host something like this, but our past facilities did not allow us to. So this is big for us because we are now able to share some state-of-the-art stuff with people.
That's really exciting.
It's going to be a point of pride for us, I think.
That's terrific. That's excellent. Let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors, and then I want to come back and talk more about the new facilities we can expect at the new high school.
Hi, this is Roy Cohen. The crew would like to thank Maxie's Delicatessen, located at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. You can reach them by calling 781-341-1662. The American Cancer Society is looking for volunteers to drive cancer patients to and from treatments. You can volunteer by calling 1-800-ACS-6662 or online at www.cancer.org. Ilse Mark's Food Pantry and St. Anthony's Free Market is located at 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. To get involved with Meals on Wheels, call Jessica at 781-344-69 8882, extension 2. The Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business in Stoughton. To advertise, call 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes here in Stoughton. You can see it on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m., either on Comcast Channel 9 or Verizon Channel 28. If you have any comments or suggestions, contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, 41 West Street, 4th floor in Boston, Massachusetts, 02111, or call them at 617-536-2460. The 24-hour helplines, 877-870-HOPE or 877-870-4673. Samaritans, 800-252-TEEN or 800-252-8336, or online www.samaritanshope.org. For you bingo players, I want to tell you about the Monday night bingo being held at the Ahava Torah Congregation, 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. The doors open at 4:30 p.m. The games start at 6:30 p.m. You come on down and win some money. They have two big prizes. One is $1,199 and the other one is up to $3,000. So come on down.
Our friends at Maxie's Delicatessen, Maxie's Deli, at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton are now open for dinner on Thursday and Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. Let Maxie's do the cooking on Thursday and Friday nights. Their food is delicious, and we can attest to that here at Community Forum because they feed us very well here on the set. Thanks very, very much to Maxie's, and do give them a go on Thursdays and Fridays between 4 and 8 for dinner. And we're back, and I think we can all say that all of us here in Stoughton are very excited about this new high school, as I've mentioned about 48 times now on the program so far. So I know that game changer is probably not, it might just be the right term for what this is. But yes. Christopher, can you tell us how this is going to change your ability to teach and your ability to do programming with students? And what's this going to be like? 'Cause I know that you've shared with me in the past offline some of the challenges you faced in the now former Stoughton High School building, and yeah. I'd love to know what it's been like for you and what it's going to be like, you think, in the new building.
I think game changer is definitely the right term. Yeah. The now former Stoughton High School, it's hard because it's closing today. The day that we're filming, right. it's closing. So is it the old or the? Right. Who knows? So, but the old building, it just it served its purpose really well. But the school and the community has grown in such a way that it can no longer meet the needs of the students, and the facility itself was just so kind of run down, and it just wasn't working. And a lot of times, as a teacher, particularly for choir, I felt very limited by the space that I was teaching in, because the space was not designed for music. The classroom that I'm teaching in was not designed for music. And so it really just puts a lot of limitations on what you can do with your class, and how far you can go. And so the new building will definitely open a lot of new doors for our students, and I think it's just going to help the music program that is already thriving and growing and doing all of these wonderful things. Having this new facility is just going to, I think, let it soar, and it's just going to do. I can't wait to see where this is going to go because of the new facility.
And John, what do you think this is going to mean for the bands and ensembles and what have you that you teach at and that you lead at the high school?
Yeah, well, there's some really tangible benefits that can be described in very simple ways. For Chris and I both, our bands and choirs currently rehearse on the auditorium stage, or most of them do anyway. Right. And the reason why is because the band room at the moment is kind of half of a computer music lab and then the other half is a closet and storage room. You can't rehearse a band in the band room. The choir is far outgrown. So they rehearse maybe a couple choirs in there, but by and large, the choirs are rehearsing in the auditorium. That's the space where they fit and where they can be the most successful. And that's nice, except for the fact that the auditorium is not just our space. It's a space that belongs to the entire community of Stoughton. Everybody's in there. People are in there for town meeting, for various different dance recitals and all kinds of events that happen all the time. And we're happy to share it, but we're really, really excited about the prospect of having rehearsal spaces that fit the sizes of our ensembles, where the kids come in and they know that it's going to work right for them. They're not going to have to work around other people's equipment and other people's setups for whatever's happening that evening. If there's an assembly going on in the auditorium, we don't have to cancel class. We can continue having band and chorus class during the day because they have a separate space that they fit in. This is huge. And the other thing that it does for us very, very tangibly, every single day we show up in the auditorium and we have to set up, in the choir's case, an entire concert arc worth of seats. It has to be completely assembled from scratch. Piano rolls out, set up the podium, bring out the scores, get the stand, all that stuff. For the band, you got to get the music stands as well, and assemble an entire percussion complement behind the band. All the kids take out their instruments, sit down. This takes an enormous amount of time. It's very time consuming, and that's not going to have to be a problem in the new building. I mean, sure, we'll break the room down week to week, but day to day, we can leave things where they are because other people aren't coming in there. So this is a huge benefit to us. Absolutely. It's going to be literally hours of recouped rehearsal time over the course of a year, hours and hours of time. Right. And so we're very much looking forward to that.
Right. And Ann and Daniel, you're not at the high school all the time, but tell me what this means for the two of you and your programs and concerts and how this opens up new facilities for your programs as well.
Sure, I'll speak to the marching band first. When we can use our upper parking lot area rehearsal space, we won't have to carry equipment down 2 flights of stairs. We'd have to carry our marimbas, our amplifiers, and anything that we needed on the field, we'd have to carry it down 2 flights of stairs. Now we will be able to safely roll it out to our rehearsal space, which is better for our students' safety, our equipment safety. It changes, and like John said, it saves so much time. So we can spend more time doing what we love to do and what the students are there to do, rather than set up. Do you want to speak to the concerts?
Sure. I mean, so we were lucky enough to have a tour of the new building the other day, and just walking into the auditorium itself, it's just mind-blowing. It is a beautiful, state-of-the-art facility, and the students are so lucky to be able to perform in that space next year. And just the sound, the acoustics in that space, and the stage that they're going to get to perform on is just, it's going to bring our performances to a new level for both the high school and the middle school students that get to perform there next year. So we're super excited about that.
We'll have an acoustic shell to send our student sound out, so when there's that high ceiling, some of our instruments who play with their bell straight up in the air like a baritone, all that sound will now get sent into our audience, rather than getting lost in the rafters. We won't plug in a bass amp to an outlet and then realize that outlet doesn't work. So everything, state of the art is great for a number of reasons, but also just for reliability, and I'm so excited. Very excited.
Well, we have state-of-the-art programs, and now it's wonderful that we have state-of-the-art facilities to match them. So I think that's really important. The two now match, which is so I can only imagine how this is going to affect your ability to teach and do new and exciting programs with our students into the future. So I think this is just wonderful for the whole town and for the whole community. Ann, I'm going to pitch this to you first, but I want everybody to answer this question, please. If you had to pick just one thing that your students would learn from you, what would it be? And I'm going to preface that by saying that my band teacher in high school I was low brass player and drum major for 2 years and all this stuff. So marching band and concert band and those things were just sort of part of who I was in high school and college. And I to this day have a very special relationship still with my band director in high school and my music teachers from when I was in middle and high school in general. But so I know what that meant to me. But I'd love to know what do you believe? What would be the one thing that you would want your students to learn from you, and what would you want them to carry away from the programs that you lead today?
It's so hard to condense it down to one thing, but I think the thing that will serve them most in life, besides their appreciation and love of music, is that some great things take time, and hard work doesn't always pay off immediately, and you don't always see the fruits of your labor right away. Music is one of those things that very few people are very good at it right away.
Right.
And so we watch them travel from 4th to 5th to 6th to 8th to 12th grade, and as they travel, you watch them grow, but in that moment, sometimes students, when they get frustrated or meet a challenge that they think that they can't overcome, they see that as that's the end for them. So I hope that as they're learning from us, they see that, all right, this is challenging. It doesn't sound very good right now. This is not very fun for this small moment, but overall I'm having a blast and I love what I do. And then they can look back and say, that seemed like such a huge deal, but I worked through it and now look what the payoff is. So if they can learn that can serve them in so many different facets of their life.
Right.
Yeah.
Daniel?
So I think we definitely would all agree that we want them, like, not everyone, we know going into this, not everyone is going to leave going into music education or some sort of music,
right.
But we want them to appreciate music and to be a lifelong musician. Like, maybe down the road there's this opportunity that comes up and they can partake in it because they had such a solid music education through Stoughton. That being said, I have this motto that I go by in my teaching: better singer, better person.
Yeah.
So I'm not just teaching them how to sing better, to read music, but to genuinely be a better person. And I tend to pick rep that can spark a conversation and get the classroom talking about some important topics, and just to preach kindness and to just be a better person. So.
I'll kind of pick up where you leave off, talking about becoming a better person through music. Musical ensembles are such a unique situation because there are very few times that I can think of where people from different backgrounds with maybe not many other things in common come together and they're all working to do one thing all together at the same time. And that says something, like, if we could see more of that in the world, people coming together and working together for a common goal.
That's right.
I would love for my students to take that out into the world. Whether they're using that for music, great, I would love that, but I want them to take that idea of working together with people and apply it in so many different places.
Yeah.
The question, what do you hope students get out of this?
Yeah.
First of all, a genuine love of music. Genuine love. The ability to listen to many kinds of music, and maybe it's not the kind that you identify with, but when you hear it, you are listening to it for its constituent parts in a way that allows you to kind of understand it and understand where it came from, how it was made, and what it's expressing. And the second thing that I really hope kids come away from our program with is this sense that when they learn music and when they learn to become better musicians, they're learning how to express themselves.
Yeah.
The thing that's inside of them that makes them a human being and not just a computer or a robot. And as they become better at that, as they learn how to express themselves, they really become more themselves. Yeah. They learn who they are. They learn when they feel this, when they feel that. This is what that means. There's a whole intangible piece of music that you can't quite put into words, but you hear it and you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it certainly is about the music, but it really, I think more than that, is even more about how it enriches lives and enriches the community. I think, and I think all those things happen because of our music programs and our young people's participation in those programs and how they grow as a whole person through their exposure to arts. So no, I think it's just terrific. Daniel, what do you think makes Stoughton's music program so special and unique?
I think we have one of the most dedicated music staffs out there. I think. No, we do. Like, we are all there. Like, when we need something, when our students need something, we are there. We are there far past 2:15 when the bell rings every day. We're there for our students to help them be better musicians. We're there for them just as human beings to help them through a problem. We also are lucky enough, at least talking on the choral side, that we, both at the middle school and at the high school, we have 2 music teachers that we are able, and it so happens that we always have a male and a female vocal model, which is huge for our students. And just to be able to individualize our instruction, to pull sectionals, to pull individual voices, is really something that does not happen a lot in Massachusetts and across the country. So we're lucky in the choral department to have that at the middle school and the high school level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree totally with what Dan has said, and it's a very special district. I've worked, before I came to Stoughton, I worked in 2 other districts, and I think probably one of my favorite things about Stoughton is just how, one, hardworking the students are. They are incredibly hardworking, and if you look at the students in the music department, they're usually the students that are involved with many other things outside of music. And they have made it a priority in their life to devote their time to this. And it's really remarkable to see how hard these students work. And on top of that, it's a really diverse, rich community, and it's wonderful to see how these people come together and create this really unique community. And we at the high school and probably at the choral or at the middle school, we refer to it as like our choir family. Like, we're a choir family. It's because we get to go through, like, the students typically take ensembles for all 4 years of their high school career. So unlike where they're taking, a math class here and a science class there, they get to sort of travel through high school with the same group of people, with the same teachers, and you just get to really know each other, and you get to make connections on a much deeper level than a lot of other places.
Right.
And those relationships really came out strongly this past weekend. We had an alumni event. It was our farewell concert to the Stoughton High School auditorium.
Right.
And there were people who hadn't seen each other for 20 years, who hadn't played their instruments for 20 years, who hadn't sung together, and they all came back, and it's like they were back home.
Right.
It was like they were back home. They were excited to see their former teachers. They were excited to see their classmates, and then to make music. It was such a special concert. It was such a special event. I got more hugs from people I had never met before than my entire life. They were so happy to be there and happy to participate one more time. And I think those relationships, because of the long tradition that you have those same teachers for so long with those same people, that 20 years later, it's like you never left. And that's a special thing about Stoughton.
Yeah. Ann's talking about the final farewell concert that happened in the auditorium on Sunday. It was really special. Yeah. And that really speaks to the continuity in this town and the music program. There are so many programs all across the state of Massachusetts and even in other states where the music program, when times are good, music program builds and builds and builds, and then you get to a point where there are a lot of budget cuts and you gotta lay off all the and everything goes away. That happened in the town I came from in the 80s around Prop 2.5, and it was really sad because there was a vibrant marching band one year, and then the next year it was gone, and that entire tradition got lost. We don't know who the band directors are. We don't know who the students were. We have like 2 photos of the uniforms. You know, that the whole program just got cut off. And in the early 90s, when they came back and said, you know what, maybe we should have a music program again, they had to start from scratch.
Wow.
They had to start from the beginning. They went and they started a 5th grade program, and they slowly built it up. I'll never forget one of my earliest memories. We moved to the town in 1995. 1996, they had their 350th. No, it couldn't have been 300. 250th. Some kind of centennial or big anniversary celebration.
Right.
There's a big parade. High school band went through the parade. It was literally like 7 or 8 kids on the back of a flatbed truck driving down the street. And that was their whole band program in 1996.
Wow.
Now, by the time I graduated, it was much bigger.
Yeah.
But this program has existed in its form that it is now in continuously since at least the 70s and possibly probably the 60s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And we saw that on Sunday afternoon. We saw the wife of one of the original members of the Fine Arts Department.
Wow.
Flew here to be there at the concert, and it was a really special moment.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think continuity, really is a key word here, because I mean, not only are we having continuity all the way from earliest elementary school ages all the way through the end of high school, and hopefully on into post-secondary education for our students that continue their life with the arts. But you're right, Stoughton has this rich history, as we said at the beginning of this conversation, that starts way back and has continued to enrich our community in this way for generations now. And hopefully will continue to do so for generations to come. In the last couple of minutes that we have together, is there anything that you'd like for the community to know from this program? Any information you need to share at the last minute, or any important dates coming up, or anything that we missed that you want to say real fast, or what have we missed?
I would say to the community, come check us out in the new building, come to our concerts. The students want people to hear them. They want audience members. You don't have to know someone in the band or the choir to come to the concert. Come hear what our students have to offer. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Come enjoy the auditorium that you built.
Yes.
That's right.
It wasn't easy, and this town came together and made it happen.
Well,
and it's going to be really beautiful.
It takes a village, right? So
that's right.
Yeah. So, well, good. Well, thank you all very, very much for being with us today. This has been a wonderful and lots of fun, a great conversation, and I think I know the community will enjoy watching this and enjoy hearing about what's happening with the new high school, and certainly with our program starting from earliest elementary school years all the way through the 12th grade. From all of us here at SMAC and the Community Forum, we thank you so much for tuning in today. We are very grateful especially to our friends here at SMAC, Michael Hammond, Jeffrey Pickett, CJ Mullen, Dave Young, Gina Coe, Bella Coe, Roy Cohen, and our friend Leo McGowan, who we wish very, very well and a most speedy recovery. I'm your host and town moderator, Adam Dawkins. Thank you so much for stopping in. You stay classy, Stoughton. We'll see you next time.